me just make one thing clearer. You said it very clearly, but lots of people who aren't familiar with this aren't going to get it. Okay, so the RNA gets into the cell. It is translated by the ribosome into a protein. In this case, it's the spike protein, which is the best target on the coronavirus.
We could debate that, but go ahead.
But it's at least a very good one. It's a prominent one.
Good target. And nobody argues with that.
If the antibodies grab onto it, the most likely thing to happen is that they will block it from doing what it does that facilitates the entry into the cell. So if everything works the way the brochure says, it's a good target.
After about 5 days, though, the antibodies have to be.
So the whole reason to use an adenoviral vector or an mRNA is not just to generate antibodies. And a lot of the data, and a lot of us that are deep in this data, think that the way that they're really providing the protection is by cellular cytotoxicity. So you're getting CTLs against it. And that's the reason to use this gene therapy-based technology is not just to generate neutralizing antibodies, but to generate cytotoxic T lymphocytes.
Okay, you and I are about to go down the rabbit hole because this is biologically fascinating, which I want to avoid doing. But you just said the reason to use the adenovirus vector, which is with the DNA vaccines, not the RNA vaccines, which is what we were talking about.
I would call it, it's not a DNA vaccine, it's an ad vector vaccine.
Right. It is the use of a
recombinant virus, which happens to be a DNA virus.
Yeah.
But it's the same basic idea. It's gene therapy technology applied to vaccines.
Okay. It's the same technology, and everything downstream of the translation of the spike protein is the same.
Spike protein?
Yeah. Is the same. And by the way, we have no problems at all with mRNA vaccines.
Right.
It's just this particular vaccine, because of the spike protein and because it cleaves off the cell and it goes throughout your body and your brain, your heart, and anywhere that you can have these symptoms that are so varied, whether it's a 16-year-old who can't talk or see 48 hours after injection, or someone whose, hand shakes, or someone who's, my carpet cleaner, Tim, he's like disabled now. He's lost $30,000 in terms of his costs, and he's going in for an epidural because he's in such pain. And so these side effects, the victims of this vaccine, they're not being able to tell their story at the press because, Tim says, I try to tell my story and the press ignores him. And we have these groups that aren't able to get attention.
Aren't able to get